The nail that sticks up will be pounded down.
Stephen, how did you find carnivore?
It's a good question, Dave. And I presume that you know the old saying, when the student is ready, the teacher will appear. And in my case, in this scenario, I am the student. And one of my teachers, an online teacher, his name was Patrick Timpone. And he was out of Dripping Springs, Texas. He had a program, oneradionetwork.com, and he was brilliant. He was in his 70s. He just passed away in October last year, and he was always interested in health and was vegetarian for years, superfoods, the whole thing. And then the last few years, he started getting into carnivore and started interviewing people like a Jonas Vonderplants, if you know him. Dr. Jennifer Daniels also talked about the importance of animal fats and things in your diet. Thomas Seyfried was also on his show. So while watching him, I kind of got more interested in keto, and I did that for about a year. Well, off and on, really. I don't know how far back you want me to go, but to what got me into carnivore, because I just finished. This is February 1st when we're recording this, and I did the January challenge. So this is the first full month of being on carnivore. Yeah, and we can talk about that a little bit later. But what got me really into doing it about 6 months ago, I'm a teacher. I teach at a university here in South Korea, and I've been here longer than you've been in Japan, I think. I came to Korea in January of 2000, and then short sojourn. Well, so what got me into carnivore? 6 months ago, about 7 years ago, I wrote a book, and a textbook that I use in my classes. And it's this book here, just to give you, it's called Tell Me About It. Developing English Fluency Through Research and Discussion of Country and Culture. I use this in my classes, and this thing is a journal. There's 40 questions. So I created a website, a YouTube channel, in which I interview different people, different foreigners living in Korea. And I've got about 18 videos. I've interviewed a guy from Russia, a woman from Spain, China, Philippines. And the last one I did was about 6 months ago, and it was a gentleman from India. And so when I got the video back to my house to edit it, and I looked at myself, and I'm like, who is this? I couldn't recognize myself. It's like, this is not acceptable. So right after that, I went on a 20-day fast, primarily water. And I've done fasts in the past. Back in the day, I was vegetarian for about 5-6 years. I even went raw. If you know who David Wolf is, he's kind of a raw guru. I went out to Kauai and hung with him, did a permaculture retreat with him, was well into all the superfoods and everything. But to fast forward 6 months ago, I went on that 20-day fast and lost a good bit of weight. And then during that time, while listening to Patrick Timpone, I started listening to more videos on carnivore and the Trinity, which is Dr. Barry and Baker and Chafee. Got into them, and Carrie with Homestead How, and then kind of through Carrie, I found your site and have been binge watching your videos. So that kind of leads me up to January, when I decided to just really go for it for an extended period of time, because before that it was kind of off and on again, off and on again. So I hope I answered the question.
Sure. And well, congratulations on completing that month.
Yeah, thanks.
Um, what has changed for you in that month?
I was, the weight, I haven't really dropped too much weight in the month, a couple kilos maybe, which would be about 5, 6 pounds, if that. Um, Not a lot of weight, but I can tell like the jawline is more pronounced. Number one is energy, and I do go to the gym. I'm on a winter holiday right now from the university, which is a 2 month holiday, so I have time. And so I have been going to the gym. It's been cold, so I haven't been getting into the mountains as much as I like. But going to the gym, and I don't spend a long time in there. I get in and get out, and I don't get tired. And the routine that I'm accustomed to, I could keep going. I could just continue. The energy and no fatigue, and clarity of mind. I think with fasting comes clarity. All of your senses are heightened on a fast. But with carnivore, I think the clarity and as they say, the brain fog kind of goes away. I don't really have any big issues that I know of, um, but those are the top two
And
or three.
so, how have you structured your eating over the last month?
Um, Mornings and early evenings. So yeah, the mornings. What I've been into is making about a 3, maybe 4 egg omelet. A little bit of cheese in there, maybe some ham, and then a bit of bacon on the side, and that's enough for me to get me through the day. And then in the evenings, we do have Costco here, so um, I do buy the ribeye, the big thing, and you take it home and you cut it up and put it in the freezer. So not a huge steak, maybe something on the side, maybe some scrambled with the steak and a bit of goat cheese, or I like to cut the steak up into cubes and not have the big thing, which might be sacrilegious to some. But you put it on the cubes, have the egg, and make kind of a bowl out of it, not that steak.
Mm,
But that's
nice.
that. It's basic. It's simple. It's a simple lifestyle, and diet. It's in and out.
Mm. So, I realize you're on holidays at the moment, but over the last month,
Mhm.
um, how have family or friends reacted to the change?
Well, I haven't really told many people. I live in a small town here in South Korea, midway down the peninsula on the west. And when I got married a number of years ago, we moved here. And so I don't have a lot of close friends in this area, and all the teachers I really haven't told. Um, the family, we chat on Zoom once a month. So they really don't know either. The only person that knows is my wife, and she's Korean, and she's a nutritionist. She works for the government, and although she's a nutritionist, she's not she accepts it, but she's not down with it. She's well ensconced in the Korean, 4,000 years of history is what I'm up against. The indoctrination in her mind is rice, the side dishes, soup, and Korean food is awesome. I love it.
Hmm.
Variety, the side dishes, the barbecue. Korean barbecue is famous, but they always have the rice and the side dishes on the kimchi on the side. So
I just when you said the 4,000 years of culture is what you're up against, I always picture Korean culture as very similar with the issue they would have with carnivore to Japanese culture. Like, even if a Japanese person wanted to do carnivore, it's just culturally impossible because they would constantly be berated by people. Why are you not eating this? What's this? And, refusing food is just a no no. You can't say, I'm not eating that at the moment. I'm on a diet or something. It's just unheard of.
the nail that sticks up will be pounded down,
Yes.
and and Korea has a holiday here, Chuseok, which is similar to American Thanksgiving, and it was I think in October last year. And at that time, I was dabbling in the carnivore, and so I went to the family's home and was not really down with eating the rice and things. And everybody was, I mean, they already look at me like, the foreigner. There's, they're very gracious and accepting, but I was getting the stink eye out of the corner. The corner was just like, can he do this? You don't do that. It's just like, and I'm just like, please get me out of here. And then Chinese New Year's coming up. Next week, I'm heading back to the family home, the parents. And now I'm more well ensconced in this thing. So it should be interesting. I was telling my wife actually, I asked her a couple days ago, if I buy steaks, grandma's house, she lives in the country and she has a barbecue. Can I barbecue these steaks? I mean, I'm from Kansas, and Kansas City barbecue. I'm gonna, West meets East kind of thing. Give me something to do. And just last night, she said, "Well, they're having a barbecue the night before, so we kind of had a bit of a misunderstanding because I was really, looking forward to doing something, bringing something to the table, and also allowing me to enjoy a nice steak. But maybe next year,
Yeah,
so."
it's really difficult with the cultural aspects. Yeah. So you talked about Korean barbecue. How easy is it to eat carnivore in Korea, as far as in restaurants and stuff like that?
Well, it's not difficult because the it's kalbi. You have so kalbi, which is the beef. Daichi kalbi is the pig, and dak kalbi is the chicken. So, and Korean chicken restaurants are everywhere. It's just they put the batter all over it, and they have all kinds of different flavors and things. So I'm a great cook. I prefer just to cook at home, but um, we do order every now and again, and or go out, and so there's plenty of meat. Koreans eat a good amount of meat, but they have the banchan, which is the side dishes, and the kimchi, and the soup, and of course the rice. But you don't have. I mean, I don't have to eat it. I can just focus in on that meat. But then people might again be giving me the the evil eye, like, You're eating all the meat, mate. Easy there. Take it easy on. Leave a little bit for the rest of us."
I I've got down to in Japan. It's kind of the same in Japan, but I've narrowed it down to a select range of restaurants that we go to as a family. And when we walk in, the expression on people's face is like, "Oh, it's the crazy meat guys here again." Yeah, we know what he's going to order. Like the one of the restaurants that's pretty close to us, like when they take our order, they're writing it down, and they write down my wife's, and they write down my daughter's, and they look at me, and they just kind of nod and write down what they know I'm going to order anyway.
Well, yeah, take no guesswork then. I mean, make it easy on them.
Yeah.
You know,
Yeah, it's I think that's one thing about certainly Japan, is you're always going to be classed as the crazy foreigner anyway. So you can use it to your advantage sometimes, and this is the kind of situation.
we can get
Yeah.
away with a lot just by playing a bit stupid or naive, I should say.
Is this something that you'll probably stick with, or do you think you may go back to eating in a more moderate style?
I think 1 month is not enough to really know. I mean, watching all the videos and seeing all of the, you know, how people change, and it's generally 3 months or more. And you know, I do have to think about the wife a bit because she's not on board. And so in January, I gave one about 3 days where like once a week. I like, Sundays generally when we're home together. It's like I had a meal, like, we had chicken one night and went out and had a Japanese tempura kind of breaded shrimp, squid kind of thing. So it wasn't, 100% beef, bacon, butter, egg thing. But I'm down with the carnivore. Honestly, I feel good, and just the grocery bill. When people talk about it being expensive, it really isn't. Because when I went to the store before, because I usually do the shopping and I did a lot of the cooking, and I was a good cook, making, YouTube University is like Thai one day or Greek or Mexican, whatever. Type it in, watch someone make it, and off you go. But when you buy all of these ingredients, the vegetable, you stick it in the fridge or outside, fruit, whatever, 1 week later, it's off and you're throwing it out if you don't get around to eating it. And it's just me and my wife. We don't have children. We have 2 cats. So the meat may be expensive in bulk or when you buy it, it's not the cheapest thing, but there's no waste. You stick it in the freezer and it's there and you eat it all. So the waste is minimal. It's actually much cheaper if you think about it, because you're throwing your money in the trash can when you're not eating the fruits, the vegetables, and you know, it just makes more sense to be carnivore, honestly.
Yeah, I agree. Along those lines, the other thing that I noticed just watching other videos where people are preparing food like on a regular diet is there's so much waste, like packaging and stuff that you end up with. And when it's meat, you don't have that much stuff you're throwing away in the bin.
Plastic surrounds this big ribeye thing. It's one layer of plastic. Yeah, in Korea, I mean, they'll like gift wrap a pear, styrofoam on the bottom and plastic and maybe in a box. And I'm sure it's the same in Japan. They even probably go more overboard on presentation, and then throw the price up, because food over here is not cheap. It really isn't cheap. And so, yeah, meat's the way to go, you know. And if I'm alone, and I am quite a bit, the wife, is working, and I'm home alone, I'm more than happy just to keep it simple. Makes a lot more sense.
And so, in the last month, time-wise, how much time do you feel like you've clawed back just in a 24-hour period? Time that you're not thinking about food, not preparing stuff, not shopping for stuff?
Hours, hours and hours. You know, how long does it take to break a couple eggs, mix it, throw it in one side, a pan, and prepare the omelet, throw the bacon on the other side, and you've cooked and eaten in 30 minutes. And it's the same in the evening. So what do you do with your time? And then you eat. I haven't really eaten, what is it called when satiety, but they say to pack it in, pack it on.
So like eating until you're comfortably stuffed, or like feasting or
Well,
something like that.
that's the satiety, but the bacon, beef butter bacon girl, or steak and egg, steak and butter.
So steak and butter
Her
girl.
the guy that she is with talks about pack. What is the word? There's the word for they're
Yeah,
using, like,
it's like priming. Priming, that's the word.
that's okay.
I always
Priming.
mix it up. I always say feasting, but yeah, it's priming. Priming.
Okay, so I haven't really done the priming properly, I don't think. Um, I eat until I eat what's on my plate, and then I'm done. I'm pretty good to go, because, like I said, I've fasted. I've done 3-day fasts. I've done 5-day fasts, and the 20-day fast. It's like, I'm not afraid of, if shit ever hits the fan, I will be fine. The body is resilient, and I have plenty of fat to get me through some pretty lean weeks still. But to eat to satiety is a kind of a new thing, and but when I'm comfortable, I'm comfortable, and then I'm good to go. So the extra hours, I'm actually working on my second book here, and that's what I do a lot of with my day, is another textbook that I'm working on. And part of the book, there's a health section in it, and it's about one of the units is on the diversity of human diet, and I've got a audio section that I will be doing a kind of a podcast for, which I will be recording my voice, and it will, one of them for, well, the one for the unit of diversity of human diets is called "Where's the Beef?" And it will be about the carnivore diet. So we're gonna bring the revolution to the university students of South Korea.
Nice.
Yeah.
And so can you talk a little bit about where people can find you, like your YouTube channel or social media?
I've got a well, the one that the YouTube channel is called 40 questions. Well, the name of the book is Tell Me About It. So if you type in "Tell Me About It 40 questions," you'll see the videos I've done on YouTube. However, that's specifically for students that use this book, because they watch the videos and they take quizzes and listen to different pronunciations and things. I started another channel on YouTube about 3 years ago called A Walker in the Woods Walker is my last name. Um, I only have two videos on that. Actually, I intended on Korea's covered with mountains, beautiful mountains, and I love to hike. So I was gonna, the intention was to bring a GoPro, go out, take a hike, and talk. So I don't know. Now that the carnivore thing is kind of giving me a new angle, I might still do that kind of concept, but start taking some hikes and talking about diet and lifestyle. So a walker in the woods would be maybe what I would be using in the future. Um, and then I've written another book. I was in Peace Corps a number of years ago, in the West Africa and the Gambia. And if you ever want to lose weight, Africa is a place that that you'll lose weight if you live in Africa. But I lived in a mud hut for 2 years, and so latitude adjustment is the name of the book. But latitude adjustment is also the name of my email. Just latitude with two T's and then an underbar, an underscore, and then adjustment at hotmail.com. If anyone has any questions for me, you can use that email. That's on Amazon though, but you don't have to buy that. One other thing I'd like to touch on before we end, I don't know how long you want to go or how long we have gone. 30 minutes or so.
Go for it.
I'm the youngest of nine children. And one of my brothers, he died in 2017. He had brain cancer, glioblastoma, I think is what the name of it is. Is that glioblastoma?
Glioblastoma.
That's right. Okay. And so I started looking into different therapies and healing modalities and whatnot, and I came across a video with Chafee because he's the brain kind of resident, brain doctor, and he was talking about that and the carnivore diet, and one gentleman in particular who had it, and because of the diet, and the guy's I think still alive 10 years later. And I wish I knew this, as they always say, I wish I knew this then, because my brother went the typical route of following doctor's advice. I went to visit him, and he's got a package of M&Ms that he's snacking on, and the sugars, the carbs, all of that just is turned into sugar, which feeds the cancer. And when just even fasting and getting into ketosis and allowing the body to feed on the ketone, the brain and the body to go feed on the ketones, is just massive in a shift of consciousness, health, well-being, and allowing the body to heal. That's another reason why I think that I am looking at this long term as opposed to just one off. I want to be healthy as long as possible, and feeling good is addictive. People have their addictions, right? Booze, smoke, whatever, but feeling good, just waking up and being mentally alert and physically responsive is addictive as hell. I love it.
Very well said. Yeah, it is. Despite all the addictions we have, once you start feeling good, it can replace everything, right?
Everything. What wouldn't it replace? Feeling good. being mentally alert and emotionally available and physically responsive and able, like I saw a video of you climbing 5 stairs and jumping something that you couldn't do a number of years ago. I don't recommend jumping off of step, Dave, but it was an example of what you can be capable of at an advancing age. We're not spring chickens anymore. So
That's right. Yeah.
yeah,
Yeah, it's nothing is as good as health feels, right?
health
Yeah.
is wealth.
Exactly. So yeah, Stephen, I really appreciate you coming on and sharing your story with us, and I wish you all the best on your journey.
Thank you. And I have two things I'd like to finish up with. One is a quote. Do you know who Krishnamurti is?
I don't know.
Krishnamurti. He was a philosopher in India, from India, and his quote is, "It is no measure of health to be well adjusted to a profoundly sick society." So when we look at society around us and we kind of follow the leader or follow the group, and it's like, oh well, I'm doing what he's doing, so it should be okay. If that society is sick, then you're sick, and that's not a measure of health. So um, forge your own path, And one there's one other book here on my desk. Have you ever heard of this book, Food Revolution?
No.
It's by John Robbins. This kind of got me into vegetarianism. Now, John Robbins was the son of Baskin Robbins, and I presume you heard that ice cream. So
Yeah.
John Robbins' uncle Baskin, I think, was a heart attack that took him. He was obese and whatnot. So John Robbins, as a young boy, saw this and he immediately said, "Ice cream killed him, dairy and whatever." So this guy went on. He became a vegetarian, moved to like someplace in some island in Canada, and became vegetarian and wrote this book. And he also wrote Diet for a New America, I think. So this book, after reading this is what got me into vegetarianism back in the day, about factory farms and the whole thing. And it's hard to deny that the animals are being abused and whatnot. But the association that he made between his uncle was dairy, where chances are it was the sugars in all of that ice cream that probably took him out. Dairy, yeah, I don't know. I just wanted to show that quickly. But being vegetarian and eat raw and the whole thing, there are positives about it, but sustainability, I think, comes with what we're doing now, and just all of the videos that you're doing, and Carrie, and all of these videos are just testament to different people's stories, and where modern society is kind of looking for that icon or superstar to glom onto. I think each and every one of these people that come on and share their story are the real heroes, even if it may be anecdotal. It makes it's literally changing people's lives. And when I came across you, and you were in Japan and I'm in Korea, just kind of I've never done this really before, so I just wanted to make a quick connection and tell you that I dig your style, and that you bring your audience all of these different stories, and they all have happy endings. To be continued, I guess.
I appreciate that. Thank you so much, Stephen.
Thank you, Dave.